Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pimlico Racecourse. Naomi Tucker joined here by Callie Francois. Callie, we are back at it again. 8 races today. We won't be racing on the turf, but we got plenty of main track action.
We do. We have a bit of a main track action for you here today. The starting is still fast. We still have a fast track. It's a nice sealed track. Rain's supposed to be coming in later, but we'll see about that. But until then, we have a nice 8 race card for you today. Here.
Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll be reviewing some of the Preakness action in lightning round as well later in this show. But let's have a look at those current track conditions. As we just highlighted, it was announced this morning that we will not be running on the turf, but we got a fast dirt track for you to sink your teeth in terms of your handicapping angles. And we're going to get going here with race number 1, which starts at early pick 5. I decided to try my hand at the early pick 5 today. I know we didn't have Keith to do an early pick 4, so I'm thinking, you know what? Let's try this sequence. This is how I played. I couldn't really land a single. I kind of struggled with that. As you can see, spreading in the first race, 4, 6, and 7 there for me. We'll discuss that, of course, shortly. And then in race number 2, I go too deep using the 5 and the 6 with the number 6, Grey Lover, my top selection there. And then race 3, got that maiden special weight. I'm going too deep here. I hope I'm not made to regret. I do find the number 5 Queen Matcha very interesting as well. So if you want to make the ticket a touch more expensive, you could add in the 5 in race number 3. I go with the 8 and the 10. And then in race 4, 3 deep again, 1, 2, and 5. But my top pick being Icy Reply, the number 5 for Rudy Sanchez Solomon. And then in race 5, I round things up with the number 1 Francis X, as well as the number 9 Divine Proportion for trainer Demo de Lovico, who I feel is just a touch better than some of the others in the field. Let's hope that he runs first today and not second like he has been running in the last couple of times. $36 a flat ticket, as we're going to get going with race number 1, which is an optional claim starter allowance, mile and 16 on the dirt here. And look, we'll have a look at what we're both doing here and both land on the number 4 Factor in for trainer Brittany Russell. Blinkers come off. I was kind of looking back at her last race going long on the mile at Lower. I'm assuming you did so as well, because that was one of her better efforts on the main track. And my reasoning was, if she didn't want to go that far, that extended distance to the second wire would have caught her out.
Exactly. And so if you kind of just take that away a little bit, I think she's going to relish the 2 turns here at Pimlico. The last time we did see her in the winner's circle was, as you mentioned, that extended after wire real estate and that 1 turn mile back at Laurel. Now, as far as taking the blinkers off, Brittany Russell's 17% at that. So when you get a filly who has made a little bit of that change, what I saw is that the challenger came up to her, and it was a combination of her, not quite getting that distance, and then I think she needs to open up again. She needs to see her competition. I very much like this blinkers off move with this filly, especially should they decide to try her for the lead again today.
And she might just end up being on it, because I don't, we do have a couple of scratches.
Right.
I don't see an out-and-out speedster in here that's going to battle for that lead.
Correct. So all the more better that she gets those blinkers off, just to get in that touch a little bit more of a competitive zone instead of a blinkers on tunnel vision zone, as to put it.
And the number 6, How Lucky, main track only entrance, so gets exactly what she wants in here. She's got the right running style. I feel like to relax behind the pace, take it from there, take some relative class relief. It feels coming from those claiming levels, Belmont and Aqueduct, which we know come up pretty salty. I do think, though, that the figure-wise, she doesn't stand above these. So that's kind of my question mark with her, that she might have to step it up a little bit.
She might have to step it up a little bit, but fortunately for her, I think she found the right field to step it up in a little bit. If she's going to step it up, this is a great spot for her to do it again today. Coming back in that May, after a little month and a half off, got sent to the lead. I don't think that was her style, even though that did work for her back time out when she was at Laurel. I think if they just go back to those winning ways, despite the fact that they were at the claiming 16 main 10, nonetheless, that's her style. That's what she likes to go at, and I think that's going to be the biggest indicator with getting Victor Carrasco back on this filly.
And race number 2 is a claiming nickel claimer, actually known as a 2 lifetime, mile and 16 around the 2 turns the distance here. So same distance as race number 1. And we do have a video spotlight here. This is for 3-year-olds. Like I said, no one is a 2 in their entire career. I landed on using the number 6 Grey Lover, which you can see right there. He was hard ridden to chase Ice Rain right around the bend. I'm not slow, just a touch further back. But what I liked is that Grey Lover, he didn't give in. Like, he kept on trying. He was well headed, but he kept on fighting for it.
Right. He shifted his head a little bit before the break, got a touch slow for him coming out of it. I think it was actually Ice Rain that did a bit of an early move on the backside. I think Ice Rain got very, very lucky getting that touch nose in front. So I thought Great Lover had a little bit more to work to do than Ice Rain in that last time out, and just kind of swept Grey Lover with him when he did make that early move on the backside, and Grey Lover had no choice but to go with it, and being on the inside dug in very, very well, as we saw on screen.
Yeah, no, I really like him in that spot. I'm glad you do too. The number 5, I'm Not Slow, both used on it. We did just see I'm Not Slow in that replay as well, trying his heart out behind them. He got down to that level, the nickel level, in his last race and set quite a sizzling early pace before then just slipping behind the duels. Did fight behind them, perhaps just being used up early
did all the hard work early for I'm Not Slow. Wasn't slow that day, of course, on the lead. Excuse me, just hopefully getting back to that winning ways. Excuse me, I have something in my throat, but
Very good.
Yeah, just before that was on the rail, doesn't love the rail. I noticed last time out ended up being behind those two horses on the rail as well. So once Jan gets this horse in the clear air, I think he'll be fine on this track as well today, very much so.
Yeah, quickly mention Mankling Creek because this is going to be third start in his cycle. His only win to date has come here over course and distance just over a year ago against Maiden 10, so don't want to leave him out for those exotics. As we move on to race number 3, which is a Maiden special weight event, and starts that Rainbow Pick 6. Now, unfortunately for us, we won't have that big carryover. One lucky bettor yesterday took out the pool, of course, for quite the sum, $479,000. But we're starting again here. Let's see how you play it.
So I do have to go off with my 8, 9, 10 with a Glow City. An interesting coming at 15 to 1 for Rudy Sanchez Salmon. I think he's going to love this track day. I think she's going to get exactly what she wants. Race number 4, I go too deep with the 1 and the 5, the Strands of Pearls. I love this Brittany Russell horse on that rail. I think that's going to transfer very well from that Penn National move. I almost thought about singling him, but I had to throw in a double because my ticket was getting a little too conservative. Race number 5, I go with the 3 and the 9. I couldn't leave out Divine Proportion either. I also thought Bold Trek, Jason Smith, has been decent first after the layoff as of late, so I thought that was an interesting choice in that race as well. Race number 6 is where I go wide. I go with the 3, the 4, the 6, and the 9. I think a lot of these horses that I just mentioned are getting exactly what they want with the opportunity of a nice, easy field on that off the turf event. Race number 7, I go 1, 2, 7. A little bit of that. Forget about it, Joe Mike Jim. I think Joe Mike Jim could come up for a nice little at 4 to 1, not to win, but I think it's a very interesting to put maybe in your exacta and exacta box. Race number 8, our nightcap of the day. I single in on Rising Perry. You can't deny. I don't think Rising Perry is, with that class drop, is really going to get the best of them that day for, again, a nice, easy ticket to get you started of $28.80 for my pick 6.
I like that. That's a great value ticket there that you can play outright or even add some hosts if you want to. But I like the structure there, and let's hope that your single comes in the finale. So we're talking about Maiden special weight here in race number 3. Fillies and Mez, 3, 4, and 5-year-old mile and 16 on the main track, as we are racing on the main track today. Callie and I have the similar horses in our top 4, just slightly different order. We'll start on your top selection here, Callie. Birdie Howe for trainer Shug McGahee returns from a 68-day layoff for a barn that's already won a couple right here at Pimlico. Did look at that last turf race because that was, of course, a significant jump up for her. She did sit the trip, couldn't really kick in the stretch. Now, looking at, of course, switching back to the main track, Uncle Mo's can run on anything, but seem to excel going along on the main track, hitting at 20%.
It's that second time route, it's that 21% second time route that really caught my eye about Birdie Howie. And then you have Shug McGahee, who is also 28% as of lately with that second time route. So out of the last 40 starts that have been second time out, 11 of them have been winners, 5 seconds and 8 thirds. So that's a 28% win percentage, and that's overall. I'm not going to do the math right now, but hot overall, as well as that second time routing and an easy one of 25% from that turf to the dirt. I think that horse, last time out at Gulfstream Park, sure, it was a championship meet and it was too short, so giving a little bit of break. I think he'll be a little bit better the second try out on the dirt.
Yeah, and of course we know that when Forest Boys takes the ride for the McGahey Barn, they tend to team up quite successfully. We always have to pay attention to them. So I used Birdie Howe underneath. I landed on a different lady here, Glowcity, for trainer Rudy Sanchez Solomon. This will be her third time going long, second time on a fast track. I thought she held herself well against maiden special weight types on both those occasions. With the scratches in here, I feel like she's finding a field that she can take based on her past figures and efforts.
Yeah, I'm especially looking at that first time. You know, the transfer from Rudy to Madison for that second time. It was that second time going long on the dirt. You're going from fast track to a sloppy track with Rudy. So we're back to I think we're going to hit a little bit back to that fast track by the time this race rolls around. So this horse she's got another. She has experience at this distance now. I think this two-turn is going to help her out a little bit. I love Angel Cruz on this filly, absolutely. And then you've got, Rudy Sanchez Salmon. He's been a little quiet, but still hitting at 25% with that second after the claim.
Oh, and he had a terrific weekend, of course.
Yes.
Stakes victory on the turf in the very one. So I'm pretty sure that his barn is very pleased with how everything has been developing so far. I did use the number 9 underneath. You did 2 Circle Home for trainer Michael Trombetta. But let's also talk about the 5, because I actually, the more I look at this race, the more I find the 5 Queen Matcha very interesting.
Yes.
Comes in here for trainer Ricardo D'Angelo. Blinkers go off. Strong work coming in. Her Tapeta runs have been decent. She hasn't been on the main track just yet. And she did try to capture the field belatedly last time on the Tapeta at Gulfstream Park. So perhaps the blinkers coming off means she's going to lay a bit closer.
Well, on top of that, she was short going out last time out, and then she had a bit of the gates open, and she had a little bit of a discoordinated break from the gate last time out. So I think with that, she's going to get a smoother trip. She's coming, again, as you noted, she's coming off of that Gulfstream Park Championship meet, so she will be coming at them from behind, and she's been able to do it before. She's just gotten very close, and so really I left her off and underneath, but again, very, very interesting filly at 4-1 in your exotics. I agree, absolutely.
Yeah, race number 4 is a claiming $16,000 to $12,500. Known as a 2 lifetime event, 6 furlongs the distance. Do a video spotlight on the number 2, Mo Fire. Just wanted to highlight the start for her in her last outing, where she just got a little, I wouldn't say taken back, but it felt like Grant was just a little bit back in the saddle, kind of in her mouth a little bit. And you can tell that basically missed the break. And you can tell that hence she didn't get away on that, with that sharpness that you normally would see for her. She still managed to get to the front, but I felt like she worked for that a little bit, and that might have been the undoing of her trying to still fire there late.
I absolutely agree. It was a combination of her hopping up a little bit, but she got caught in the mouth. It happens every now and again, so riders can't get it all the time, but she was caught in the mouth, she hopped up, and then right there when she gets on that rail, I think that was the second part of her undoing, when she does get a little bit, I think she got 100% intimidated when she was on the inside on that rail, and Xavier came over and intimidated her. He's very good at understanding when horses get intimidated and how to kind of capitalize on that, and that's exactly what he did, and that's exactly what we saw that on the screen last time out.
You land on Strand of Pearls for training Brittany Russell. Of course, you can never leave out a Russell runner on this circuit, especially with those first new trainer stats, with the first LASIK stats. We know that those are all moves that she excels at. Now, wasn't giving in on the rail last time out. That was a Penn National, whilst receiving plenty of pressure and company all the way. However, this 3-year-old filly does have to step it up a little bit in terms of her figures to be fast enough to go with these.
And that's where Brittany comes in. So I thought I was really, really encouraged by that, first off of a little bit of a layoff, that, inside position at Penn National, she was able to get away. So if she was able to do it before, she can certainly do it with Brittany again. Now, while I don't see a gate work in the last 4 works, I do like that work at Laurel, putting a nice solid bottom on her. And again, stats galore to go with the first time Brittany Russell training.
Yeah, and so we both use similar horses. I landed on the number 5, though. Icy Reply for Rudy Sanchez Solomon. She's been on an upward trajectory in her last 2 starts. Her maiden 10 score was very, very eye-catching last time out. Now, she does get up against winners for the first time, claiming 16 level, but I feel like the way she's been progressing, she's up for the challenge.
Hey, it's her first time she hasn't lost against winners, so that's fine, too. This filly, the only thing is that she may, I'm just looking at her little pattern of range ever since she's kind of come into her own if you go 3 starts back. So she did, in numbers, bounce a little, just ever so slight. So, but she has a field where she still may be able to be okay with that. She does have that, if she goes the same way as far as speed goes, which she has been showing for the last 3 starts, she has that outside speed position that she could intimidate that inside horse, which is my top selection. So both of our top selections are both speed runners, so we'll see who ends up on top.
Oh, we will see when the gates open indeed. Stay with us though. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back with the latter section of the card.
When it comes to getting back in the game, there's only one team to turn to. The team more high school, collegiate, and professional athletes train and recover with. That team is MedStar Sports Medicine. For more than 30 years, MedStar has served as a leader in the diagnosis, treatment, and rehabilitation of orthopedic and sports-related injuries. Ranked among the top programs in the Maryland and Washington regions, we offer rapid access to athletes of all levels. Let the pros who treat the pros treat you. MedStar Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to Pimlico Race Course. We've got 8 live races coming your way today. We are on race number 5. Callie and I are in unison as far as our top selection goes. That is the number 9, Divine Proportion, for trainer Damon Delodo-Vico. It just feels like, well, 3 seconds in a row, right?
Yes.
I'm hoping that we don't have a case of second-itis here for this gelding, but he looks like he's just a touch more consistent and a bit of a higher class level than some of the others in here. I just hope that he didn't get used to running second and that today he's actually going to get his picture taken.
No, I think this horse has actually gotten a lot more confidence since he's broken that maiden back at Charlestown. So this horse could potentially be maybe likes Charlestown a bit better. So saying that, this horse is going to transfer from Charlestown to Pimlico a little bit better, I think. I think this horse will very much like this track here today. Still has been respectable ever since that. I'm looking back at that, actually, that off-the-turf event back in August of last year, and was very, very consistent. Was able to hold on for a second against that challenger, but the winner went ahead away running. Now we have a bit of a different Divine Proportion who comes from off the pace. So with, as far as the speed in this race goes, I'm just taking a peek. There's nothing too strong that really concerns me. Maybe the 2, certainly not enough the 4 for me to be worried about. So I think, we get a little bit, maybe just not hang back too much, and let's see a little bit of that performance back at the 11th of March at Laurel. If we see anything like that, that will be what gets this horse home today.
Yeah, I think this is his race to lose. I do use another sort of off the pace runner underneath because, like you said, there is some speed in here.
Right.
I do think that Abhar is probably the number 2 is the most likely speedster that will hang around. But Francis X on the rail receives class relief for the first time since breaking his maiden at the maiden 10 level. Lines up here a second time after a bit of a freshener. Didn't get the break he hoped for last time out. He kind of got shut out early. I was watching that race back this morning. Ends up sort of on the back foot, and that race was kind of over. I think he's very live coming into this spot against an easier group.
I think he needs the group. I think he's where he needs to belong today. And if Mac Enrique Jr. can just get this horse well enough broken out and just sit him behind it, as you can see back, I'm looking back at that 5.5 performance back in January at Laurel, and that's his sweet spot right there. So, like you said, he got shut out. He was too far back. There was too much for him to do with a horse at this level. Sometimes if they're way too far behind, it just discourages them, and then they just don't do anything coming up the front side. So as long as he gets a good break, I could definitely see this horse getting a little bit more improved in the field finish today.
He had a bit of a price pay in your exacta as well. Bold Trek 6-1.
Yeah, so Jason Smith, a short sampling, but he's been able to be 33% off a very short sampling, mind you, but the last 3 starts after a decent layoff. This is after a decent layoff, has been decent, getting 1/3, a win and a second going at that. You've got Aubrey Green, who's pretty hungry to get to try and get going on this Maryland circuit right now. And again, this is one where this is again another mid-pack type horse, sort of like your Francis X, where he needs to get out there and get in the clear. Just get in the clear and get into a nice, easy spot, which I feel like has had a little bit of that, the last 2 starts has had a little bit of a challenge with that.
Race number 6 is an allowance race that we also wanted to discuss today. 5 furlongs the distance here. Maryland bred, Maryland side horses which have never won a state bred or a state bred allowance race here. couple of scratches. Of course, the whole complexion of the race changed
changes.
here now that we're on the main track. So let's have a look at what we ended up both doing here. You went towards the outside. I have that horse in my exacta here. That is the number 903s for trainer Hamilton Smith. Now, he wasn't as strong in his last race, which was against a decent group of sprinters. Faces perhaps a bit more whittled down field here today, and is kind of looking to swoop them up with a middle race move.
Yes, maybe not middle race, placement is how I want to see this horse working. I like a little bit of that changeup of the work in that 48 and 4 back on the 19th of May at Laurel. So we're seeing a little bit of a different go. I like the blinkers off for this horse as well. I just think this horse has been, again, it was like the Brittany Russell horse we were talking about earlier. There's a reason why they take these blinkers off, is sometimes they get used to the blinkers and then they just get tunnel vision and they don't get motivated at all. So open this horse up a little bit, see if we can get some competition blood back flowing in this horse, and open up his eyes to competition again.
Yeah, I landed on number 4, Commanding General, who ran into a very tough stablemate of him last time out in Las Vegas. Now, he's been a solid campaigner running sort of those mid-80 buyers. No Nash Vegas in here. I think Commanding General is going to enjoy that. Jumps from gate 2, cutting back to the 5 furlong, but he's won over 5.5 furlongs already earlier this year. I think this is just his spot, especially now the way the race sets up, with him perhaps being that dominant speed.
Exactly. He does have to, he's had allowance experience. I think it's just a matter of him getting the right distance and the right spot in the right situation, and he's running out of the stall. I think he's going to love that, especially Kieran McGee's horses have been running very decently out of the stall here at Pimlico. It's what he loves. So I think this horse, running at Pimlico, he hasn't won at Pimlico yet, but he's run well enough for it to be encouraging for this allowance field here today.
There you go. Well, let's talk about Zenpai, though. I struggled to place him here. Had one bad race last time out. Got given a break after that. Returns for a barn that excels with these moves that hit about 24% after those 61 to 180 day layoffs. He's put in the effort against start allowance type that could get him back into the winner's circle here, according to some of the numbers he's run. So the more I look at this runner, the more I find him dangerous for a very sharp barn.
Dangerous at this price for a very sharp barn. So this horse can be placed absolutely anywhere. He's going to be on that inside. He's going to be on the inside there, but he's had that experience before. That last time out, he was on that inside. He was able to deal with that pressure. He was able to get out. Humphrey, it's up to Humphrey to really get this horse out of the gates today, because that's really, as long as he gets out of the gates well and plays a clean game, he puts in a clean effort. I think last time out, I think there were a lot of tough questions to ask of him that day. I think, the second time in allowance, sure, let's give him a try.
Yeah, I love that English apprentice William Humphrey gets the ride here. Take that weight off, give him a chance on a horse like Zenpai, and I think it might just work out for him. Very, very intrigued by Zenpai in race number 6. But race number 7 is the first level optional claim for 6 furlongs. The distance, a video spotlight on the Brittany Russell run. A little bit of that. The number 2, we look back at her last race, which she made an emphatic win. She had the inside draw that day, but she shot from the gate like a rocket. She was flying. I think Forrest Bush was just trying to settle her without obstructing her too much, and look how she delivered late as well.
She cannonballed out of that gate pretty well, and she kept clearly she kept to task. It's what she likes to do. We've got her flavor. We've clearly got this horse's flavor. This is your speed of the race today. I think she's going to be able to do that again today. You have Brittany Russell 30% second after the layoff. That nice work on April 27th leading up to that. Haven't seen her work since, but however, I think this filly, the last time she ran was the 8th of May. Still recovering a little bit from that, but I think it's very plain on the wall as far as where this filly needs to be and what she needs to do, and I just think we're going to get to see a repeat performance today.
It feels like we will. I think she's going to be as fast again out of the gate, bar hopefully nothing happens, because you never know. Still horse racing, but a little bit of that looks like the speed of the speed. She relishes it, and she just clears. Now, both you and I look at Forget About It on the rail as well for trainer Jerry Rowe. Nearly got bested at this level last time out by a talented unbeaten filly, and half is enough for trainer Michael Trombetta, but she really is trending in the right direction.
I think she also gets that inside post that she likes, because I think this is a filly that likes to be broken and then just held together and taken back, and really just kind of, you put the lock, stock, and barrel on her, and then she goes. And that's the last time we saw her win. The next time you saw Xavier Ryder, she rushed her up to the front on the mud, going a little bit longer. I like her at the 6 furlongs better, any type of shorter distance better. So again, I think that this inside spot of just really hauling her down and making her sit and wait, I think she's absolutely going to love that today.
I have some interest in the 5, and I saw you put her in underneath as well, Sweet Gracie. She was able to stay within lengths of a sizzling early pace last time, and after not getting away as sharply as the majority of the field, she kind of flopped out of the gate. She had to make up some lengths, but once she did, she then had to wait for room quite a bit. Jean Novello really having to be patient. She was covered in kit back, but she was so professional then, splitting runners and still getting the win. I watched her back and I'm like, ooh, this is actually, if she continues the progression, who knows?
Again, this is another great example, just like the Rob horse that we were talking about, where this is a filly where you doesn't get the break, but then at the right time you hunker down and you make these fillies wait, and they absolutely love it. They love it sometimes. they love being hunkered down, just getting them to settle down, making them settle down. There's all of this energy. She's not a chestnut, but she's a gray, so close enough with this attitude. But you just keep her held together and get all of that mental momentum going, and then you put in an open spot, and then they just fire. So Sweet Gracie is absolutely no exception last time out, as we saw.
I think that the fact that she was able to overcome a majority of little events happening within her race and still fire like she did.
Right.
She gets that cleaner race here, which we know is more effective for the majority of runners anyway. I think she's going to do very well. The nightcap is another claiming event, $10,000 to $8,000, 6 furlongs the distance. And you and I look towards the number 6 in here as well. Rising Perry for trainer Damon Delodo Vigo comes in off a small freshener as well. Just an individual that we know what he's capable of, perhaps just didn't have his day last time out. But before that, you see a runner that runs second, third, with strong figures, is going to be around about there. It's probably the most reliable sort in this field.
Exactly. The very, very consistent horse in Rising Perry. I think this is the lowest we've seen him. So really, that's the biggest thing that attracted me about him, is that, not every horse can have their day or have a race. And ever since we've seen this horse get back on the dirt, it was really that last time out that what we saw. So really, I think just on that class alone, this horse can just really take a walk in the park and have a grand old time winning this race.
I hope he will. We do have a couple of speedsters on his outside. We know that Rising Perry likes to keep that sort of tactical position. We have the Cairo Kid, who might want to move forward. Jimmy the Kid was able to win on the lead last time out. Both you and I use Cairo Kid in our exacta for Annette Eubanks. Jerome Barbosa takes the ride here. The question mark is he going to be able to hold off a horse like Rising Perry?
I don't think so, which is why I have him in my exacta. I think this horse he was really impressed. He impressed me for him. He impressed me 3 starts ago when he didn't get his way, he didn't get the lead, but still hung on there and showed a little bit of that tactical speed. So another tool that he can use, and I think, with what's going on as far as the speed here, he just needs to get to that outside. This is a $10,000 claiming horse. He likes to get a bit of that cleaner air. So that's my only concern with him, is he's going to be taking not so much the Damon Deal DeVico horse, but that outside pressure. Is he going to be able to handle that? That's my biggest concern about the Cairo Kid today.
And we'll find out in race number 8 as we move on to lightning round. Hinted at it earlier during the show. One clever bettor was able to solve the Rainbow Pick 6 yesterday. We had such a tremendous carryover coming in from Preakness weekend, but it got paid out yesterday, $479,801. A life-changing score.
Life-changing score, absolutely. I was just thinking about what I would be doing with that money as well. And well done to taking advantage. I'm sure plenty of people were getting in on that nice pool right after Preakness.
Yeah, no, absolutely terrific. That someone was able to hit it. Unfortunately, no mandatory payout with a huge pot for us, but we start again here today. So as usual, be well supported. And look what will be coming back to Pimlico. I can remember last year that we did see a couple of familiar faces here, a couple of trainers with children running next to the ponies, running with them for pony racing right here behind us at Pimlico.
Yeah, Hugh McMahon's kids always come up to show. Phil Schoenthal's girls, I think, will be making a nice performance out here today. Bernard Houghton always bringing in anything the Houghton kid, Houghton ponies that are out there are usually pretty deadly out there on this for these pony races, and I get so entertained, and I get such a kick out of it. Of course, Edie Russell will probably be out there. We saw her probably win. We'll see. If she's on Cinderella again. We'll see what Cinderella is up to for this time, and see if Cinderella is up to it as well as Edie today.
11 a.m. post on Saturday. Do come and join us for quite this spectacle before live thoroughbred action will begin. So the ponies take center stage beforehand. And look, Callie, I wanted to get the chance to relive some of the Preakness moments. One of our cameraman and editor, Steve Martin, was able to put together this little package here. And you can see him right there, early voting. And this is them heading out. Who would know that Jose Ortiz, after this, would have a first Preakness victory on board? Of course, Chad Brown had already done so with cloud computing in 2017, but what a race it was.
You know, it wasn't entirely surprising. He was taking in a lot of later
around the far turn they go.
We do have the call here, of course, by Dave Rotman as well. So let's have a listen.
Stride. Simplification. Secret Oath is let loose in the back of the pack, and she's on the move. She's on the move on the far outside, and Creative Ministers down to the inside, followed by Skippy Longstocking. Epicenter, still a lot to do on the rail. Epicenter now trying to move forward with a quarter to go at Pimlico. Epicenter is fifth, and on the inside, early voting takes over. Early voting burst away with 1 furlong left to go. Epicenter, rail run, coming with each and every stride. Secret Oath out the center of the track. Creative Minister right there in that battle too. But it's early voting clear. Epicenter trying to gain late with a 16th to go. Early voting shifting over to the rail. It's early voting to take it from Epicenter, a length and a half.
I was curious to see what would have happened if maybe Epicenter got a little bit earlier, but it worked out. The trip worked out perfectly for Jose Ortiz, and early voting was able to just sit right off of Armagnac, who made the predictable speed. But what a fun performance that we got to see. And Creative Minister was creating a lot of buzz. A nice third by him for Kenny McPeak. That was a fun. We'll see what he does at Belmont later. But early voting, Chad Brown. It was I know it was Clever Stable owner Steve's. It was his birthday that day as well. So you couldn't go off with a better Preakness. We had a wonderful event run. I didn't get to say it yesterday to our crew, but I thought we did a very, very well job done to our team as well. The whole team, the whole first team, did a remarkable job at running a very, very smooth and fun event that we had this year at Preakness 2022.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more in relation to that. And yeah, a birthday gift for Mr. Klarman. I wouldn't mind a birthday gift like that. Preakness here, of course, retainer Chad Brown. A truly tested path now, Wood Memorial into the Preakness. Very intrigued as well. You mentioned Creative Minister for trainer Kenny McPeak coming back in the Belmont. Love that he took a swing with Creative Minister. That paid off, finishing third. Of course, we know Kenny from taking a chance with the filly in 2020, giving us that incredible stretch battle between Kentucky Derby winner and Authentic. So, so much fun. Thank you again, as you highlight, to the entire team of the Maryland Jockey First Racing, all the horsemen and women, all the owners and trainers coming in here, taking their horses over and making the week as special as it was again this year. So Preakness 147 is in the books. Looking forward to 148 next year. And on that note, we're going to conclude the morning show. But Callie and I will be back this afternoon to guide you through the 8 race card coming up. First post 12:40. Good luck, everyone.